Hi guys, David here, bringing you another 3 great family board games for you and your family. But first, a massive thank you to everyone who has watched the video so far. Your support's been wonderful and you've given me plenty of great ideas for stuff to put into the pipeline. So if you haven't already, hit subscribe, tell your friends, share it with your family, keep those suggestions coming. Okay, into the games. For those of you watching for the first time, there's a couple of things that I've worked out need to be successful for a game in my house. I have a son who's 5, just turned 6, and my wife and I, so there's only 3 of us. So for a game to work, it needs to be fun for all of us. It needs to be able for anybody to be able to win. It needs to play well with just 2 players, and it has to be fun for us adults too. Because unless it's fun for adults, we're not going to want to play them. The 3 games that we're looking at today come under the umbrella of gateway games that introduce some contemporary gameplay strategies, tactics and mechanics. Today we'll be looking at the junior version of those games. The best thing is, they've only diluted the difficulty down a smidgen, so it's still really fun for adults to play as well. They also provide that gateway into bigger and broader games as everybody's skill progress. So let's take a look. Alright, who loves trains? Be honest, we all really love trains, and games with trains in them are always fun. This is Ticket to Ride, or our version of Ticket to Ride. Now the original version of Ticket to Ride is set in North America, which for us in Melbourne, we couldn't relate to it. So when I heard there was a junior version of Ticket to Ride, and it was set in Europe, I knew that was the one that we had to have. So the aim of the game is to complete tickets. The tickets tell you to connect 2 cities on the map. You connect cities by completing routes between 2 cities, and they might not be the same 2 on your ticket. You might have to go through other cities to do that. You claim a route by playing train cards from your hand to place trains on the board between those 2 cities. On your turn, you can either pick up 2 cards to add to your hand, or you can claim a route. To do that, you simply match your colours in the cards with the colours between 2 cities, play your cards out, and then place your trains on that section connecting the 2 cities. Now you might not be able to do that. That route might already be taken, or you might have an existing network that you want to add on to. So the most direct route isn't always the best one. And this is where the strategy comes in. It's fantastic fun doing that problem solving to try and maximize the places that you're playing out and connecting more cities. Once you've got a series of routes which connect the 2 cities on your ticket, that ticket's complete. First to complete 6 tickets is the winner. Now you can see most of the routes between 2 cities have 2 routes you can take of different colours. Some only have 1. So as a 2-player game, it's pretty light-hearted, but it does get a lot harder when there's 3 or more people, because it's very likely the route you really want is going to get nicked by someone else. And it's a fantastic game for getting kids to be aware of that choice, having those options and having to think on your feet and change your plan to suit what you need to do. The map is beautifully decorated in a rich cartoon style and vibrant colours, and the way they've decorated the cities using elements from those countries is fantastic. They've used food, they've used costumes, they've used flag colours, all these things to provide a bit of information about that place. It's oozing with colour and fun. You can't help but smile when you look at it and while you're playing. We love this game because there's almost no reading to do. It's only the names of the cities on the map. But that in itself is fantastic because we're learning where these cities are and a part of their culture through the graphics on the page as well. There's so much strategy involved in trying to connect your 2 cities to finish your ticket and then finding another route when someone blocks you. It's only a race to 6 tickets, so it's short by design already. You can make it longer if you want to challenge yourself, but regardless, it's a really fun game and there's just so much colour. And who doesn't love putting trains on a table? I've never played traditional dominoes. I don't know it. But King Domino is a really cool game that's bright, fun, fast, and really gets you thinking. There are a few different versions of King Domino out there and a couple of expansions as well, but the basic principle is the same. Let's have a look. You'll take turns adding tiles to your kingdom. The crowns act as a multiplier to that region and all the squares connected with the same colour. However, you're limited to a 5x5 grid, so you're going to have to plan ahead if you want to make it a perfect square. Sometimes you'll have to make choices about whether you place it a certain way and forfeit the square. in order to get more points by having the crowns in the right regions. Once all the tiles have been placed and all you've got your grids, add up your score, and you've got a winner. We have the Queen Domino version, which allows us to play the traditional King Domino by using certain tiles, but also allows us to introduce other features like knights, the Queen, a dragon, because who doesn't love dragons, creating a more adult-orientated game for my wife and I to play. It is quick to set up, game can be over in 15 minutes, so it encourages that repeat play. King Domino is a fun tile placing game that involves a lot of maths principles such as shape, pattern, and multiplication. So for that reason, it's really good for young students just entering into that maths phase. And because everything is on display all the time, it's an open-handed game and you can talk about what strategies you're applying, what you're thinking to help guide younger players on what to do and what they might like to consider. It also means that because you're working on a points per person kind of scenario and it's always there, it is a really good two-player game because you're always essentially playing against yourself. There's even modifications to play it as a solitaire kind of game, if that's your thing. Alright Pirate fans, this is Catan Junior. Now the Catan family of games are probably the most common gateway games out there in terms of introducing newcomers to modern board game mechanics. The Junior version does scale it down a little bit, but gives it a pirate theme. So this is going to be good for most of families out there. During the game, you'll be collecting resources to build pirate ships and pirate lairs. On your turn, you'll roll the dice. That'll produce resources for certain people on that turn. Then the active player will do some trading, maybe do some building, and the first person to build all 6 of their lairs is the winner. Now, there's a lot going on in this game, so I was initially a bit nervous about introducing it to my 5-year-old, but he loved it. The pirate theme is so exciting and engaging. The roll of the dice affects everybody every turn, so there's always something going on. You're always accumulating resources to work towards your next turn to build or buy. This is the map for 3 or 4 players and it plays really well. However, for a 2-player game, there's a smaller map on the other side which has less islands and different starting points. We love this game because the theme is just so exciting. You're always handling things, buying things, watching the dice. There's always something happening. The strategy in this game is mainly around managing your resources, which involves trading, either 1-for-1 with the marketplace or 2-for-1 with the stockpile. You can introduce negotiating with the other players if you want to take it that far as well, but it's a fantastic introductory game to this style of gaming. So there you have it, another 3 great board games for families with young kids that the adults are really going to enjoy as well. Now, these games are considered gateway games, which means they introduce modern contemporary board game mechanics. So if you're not that familiar with board games or you only know Uno and Monopoly, there's some really great stuff out there and these games are a great introduction to that style of board gaming. Enjoyed what you saw? Hit subscribe, there's plenty more coming. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and have fun.